CPOE, Consults and Referrals. At times you may need to refer a patient to another provider or healthcare facility for additional service or treatment, such as surgery, specialist, diagnostic, consultation, or counseling. These can be done in conjunction with an encounter or independently, depending on your local workflow or preferences. Before a consult or referral can be ordered, there is some setup that must occur. So we will look at that first, and then we'll look at how to order a consult both ways, within an encounter and external of one. As with most setup and prognosis, some mandatory setup is required under Settings Configuration, which requires system administrator permissions. It's important that all of this setup is done in order for the consult or referral workflow to work properly at the encounter level. Please note, the sequence in which this setup is done is also a factor, as each setup builds into the next. You'll see that I'm logged in here as the system administrator, and I'm on the configuration menu. The first thing we'll want to define is the specialty, which will be linked to the receiving party and will serve as a filter when ordering the consult at the encounter level. I'm going to go to the Medics column and select the second option, Specialty. Click the Add New button and then enter the description. This will be used in our next step when we define our receiving parties to link the two together. For training purposes, I'm going to create a designation of chiropractor physical therapy and click Save. Next, I'm going to navigate a little further down in the same Medics column to the referring doctors. Again, click Add New and enter the name. Both the last and first names are required, so when it comes to facilities, it's up to your discretion on how to key it. For example, I'm going to create a facility called Therapy by the Bay, Southside Annex. The only other mandatory field is the specialty. I'm going to choose Chiropractic Physical Therapy, the one we just added in the previous step, and click Save. I'm also going to go ahead and create an individual doctor, just so that you can see the difference when we create the consult. So the first name will be Will and the last name is Halstead. And again, the specialty is chiropractor physical therapy. This just creates a couple of sources to whom we can refer a patient. Our third step is to ensure that we have a valid template for our referral letter. Your library, of course, came preloaded with numerous letter templates. So you can use one of these, create your own, or modify one of the standards. This is totally at your local discretion. This is to assign a default referral letter for the consult, but of course you can always select a different one on a case-by-case basis as needed. You may have one that you use for all referrals regardless of the nature of the consultation, or you may have separate templates for each one. There are some cases where each facility to where the doctor was referring the patient actually required its own template. So although the doctor had one consult called Therapy within Prognosis, since he referred to 10 different therapy centers, he needed 10 different letter templates. This will of course depend on your local community and to whom you're referring your patients. In our case here, I'm just going to use my standard template called Consult Referral to Other. We see that here under Outpatient Templates Letters. As I mentioned, all standard templates can always be customized if needed, but as we glance here at the referral, you see that it references the patient details, why they were seen, and their current medical problems, your assessment, and their current prescriptions from your treatment. Some want this to include more detail or less. It's entirely up to you. When we actually generate the referral, you can include attachments from the patient's chart, so you may prefer to make this cover letter generic and simply say, "See findings attached," and then include the entire progress note if you'd like. Finally, now that we have those settings completed, we can define the actual consults that we'll order for the patient. We do this under Workflow Consults. And again, I'm just going to click Add New button. The name of the consult is free text, so you can label it whatever is relevant to you. For our purposes, I'm going to name this one Chiropractor Physical Therapy. You may call it Nutritional Counseling or MRI or whatever scenario you have. You'll see the next field is Specialty. I'm going to choose Chiropractor Physical Therapy. You can see now why earlier I emphasized that sequence in this setup is critical. If you do not first define the specialties, you would not be able to assign it at this point. Further, the benefit of the setup is the preferred doctor. You'll notice where it defaults initially as dummy, which is fine if you do not want to assign a default provider. However, if you click the binocular at this point, you will see a list of referring doctors and facilities filtered by that specialty that you assigned previously. You see here that we have Therapy by the Bay and Dr. Halstead, as we just set up. So you can assign the one that is preferred or leave it as dummy. Finally, there's a letter template where you assign the default referral template. I'm going to select the standard one that we just looked at, and then of course click Save. Now the point of doing all of this setup is that when a doctor needs to order a referral, he can simply select the applicable referral. Then the desired receiving party and the referral level template will default, which makes it easier on everyone. In this first example, I'm logged in as Dr. Cooper. Dr. Cooper has chosen to use the order sheet workflow, which of course is a local preference. I've opened the encounter for Jax Teller, who is being treated for a shoulder injury and needs to be referred to a chiropractor or physical therapist for consultation. The nice part about the order sheet workflow is that the doctor simply has to indicate the type of consult, but his staff will do the clerical aspect of actually generating the referral letter. This allows the doctor to go on to his next patient. So you'll see here that I am on the assessment screen. I've entered my ICD for shoulder pain. Down here in my lower right, under Plan Notes, I'm going to click Consult and select Chiropractor Physical Therapy. Now notice when I do, my plan is automatically populated. At this point, I can finish Jack's visit and mark him as ready for checkout. Back on our home page, notice that Jack's status, instead of showing with doctor or ready for checkout, it shows process C. You'll see here on the tooltip, it shows ready for checkout, but it also spells out process consult. As a side point, the color will reflect a primary status. In this case, it's pink for checkout. But the label takes priority when an order sheet item is pending. This is based on the home page property that can be set when you use the order sheet functionality. Because the home page auto refreshes every minute, this serves as real-time communication between the back and front office, which in a busy practice proves to be very beneficial. Of course, the doctor can simply tell his MA or front desk what he needs, and that is determined by local workflow. So to finish the consult order, I'm going to log in now as Connor. Jax is ready to check out, and when Connor sees the Process C status, he knows that he needs a referral letter. So he's going to click on his name to open the encounter and navigate to the order sheet option on the left. When I open the order sheet, you see there is a yellow folder icon in the Consult tab. We see here the chiropractor physical therapy is shown with the status to be ordered. So to complete the request and generate the referral letter, we're going to click the hyperlink, which opens the Consult Select dialog. You'll note it defaults to Dr. Will Halstead, the default doctor that we assigned, but we can click the binoculars here to choose a different source per scenario. Click the OK button and the letters out screen will automatically launch with the default referral letter template that was assigned during the setup. It is automatically addressed to Dr. Halstead with the secured email if you are set up for secured messaging via N2N, or if not, this would show the default personal email. And along the left here, our subject is the name of the consult requested. As we scroll through the actual referral letter here, we see the verbiage from the default template, which in Dr. Cooper's case includes the HPI, current meds, and assessment and plan. At this point, you complete the requisition per local process. You can print it, fax it, or even send in secure email. If we take a look at Jack's document list now, we'll see the consult letter. It shows Dr. Halstead as the person to whom we referred Jax, and in the description, we see the type of consult that it is. And of course, we preview the letter. We can see the actual content of the referral letter, that it was sent by email or printed and given to the patient to take to his appointment with Dr. Halstead. So by ordering your referrals this way, there is a permanent record automatically added to the doctor's plan of care on his assessment as well as electronically on the patient's document list. Now, some of you may not want to use the order sheet workflow and just want to generate the referral letter, and this is certainly an option. Instead of the doctor clicking the gray consult button on the assessment screen, and then the staff member going into the order sheet to select the provider and then complete the letter, you can simply go straight to the letters out and generate the referral. When you do it this way, there is no automatic inclusion of the order in the doctor's plan, so he will have to manually add that narrative to his plan notes. In addition, the letters out screen will be blank when initially accessed, so it will have to be completed manually. In this workflow, the home page status does not reflect what needs to be processed either, so the communication will have to occur otherwise between the doctor and the staff before the patient is checked out. If you'd like to do it directly like this without the order sheet, you simply go to Patient Letters Out. If you have a patient loaded already, it will default to that one. If you are newly logged into the system and select this screen without first selecting a patient, then the patient search will invoke so that you can search and select the desired one. I'm not going to go into the demonstration in this video as we just saw the letter out screen with the referral letter. The only difference is in our first example, it was pre-selected by the system through the doctor's assessment, and by this method, the user must select it all manually. You can also see a detailed instruction of the letters out screen in the letters out video. The last option we're going to look at is the clinic form. This option is unique in that it can be used independently or in conjunction with the order sheet and letters out workflow. It is totally decided by your local workflow and needs. The solution is not practical for all offices. However, in some scenarios it works very well, especially in large facilities with multiple doctors or specialties, or in cases where you must get pre-authorization or verified benefits before you schedule or perform a consultation. This is especially true in such cases of expensive procedures like MRIs or sleep study referrals. In this example, I've chosen Donna Paulson, who is training for a marathon and needs a physical exam and a dietary consultation for medical clearance. Clinic forms do have some unique behaviors, however. For the most part, they're similar to specialty templates. In the context of requesting referrals, we're going to focus on just those aspects. But for full details on the Clinic Forms feature, please see the Working with Clinic Forms video. When using this option, the referral letter itself will be generated under Letters Out, as we just covered in both scenarios. The inclusion of Clinic Forms allows you to track the authorization and verification process when applicable, as well as scheduling the consult when that is your process. So once you enter the date of the referral here on the left and click the binocular, select the applicable form or forms. In Donna's case, I'm going to select the outside consultation request. These forms, of course, are 100% customized per local needs. You'll notice that I also have other forms that are not regarding consultations or referrals. In the case of referrals, however, you will want to tailor the template accordingly to include the insurance pre-authorization details if necessary, or you can choose to have multiple forms to gather the data, whatever your preference is. In my case, I've chosen a single form that combines all of the required fields. One of the nice features of this option is that there is built-in messaging so that whenever the form is updated, a supported event can be set to trigger a message to the addresses that the details have been modified. This ensures that your scheduling department, or whatever user is required for following up on the referral, is able to manage it according to the local workflow. You do this by choosing Save and Notify, rather than just Save. Within the pop-up, you can select the user or select the distribution list and notify the appropriate people. Now, for many who use this workflow option, they will also sometimes utilize custom status codes for the routing. However, that requires local decisions as it forces you to keep your encounter open, which due to meaningful use and billing processes may not serve your needs. So here in Donna's case, I'm going to send the notification to Gabby at the front desk, who works the insurance and scheduling. So she's aware the doctor needs this consultation, but it requires authorization per the patient's insurance. She can then view all of the details on this form and manage accordingly. Now I'm logged in as Gabby. Notice that the message is in the top of her inbox, You'll notice that the message subject includes a tooltip concerning the consult request. I can click the Zoom icon, which launches the clinic form, and then Gabby can take the appropriate process. Now, regardless of the option you choose, the workflow for requesting consults or referrals can be basic and automatic if you use the order sheet, direct and independent if you just want to use the referral letter without using the order sheet, or a hybrid with or without the order sheet, but with the added details of authorization tracking and even scheduling if needed based on which clinic forms you choose to use. In this video, we discuss the process of referring a patient to another provider for additional services. We demonstrated the setup and configurations that must take place prior to the consult. We learned how to order a consult from an encounter and outside of an encounter. That concludes this video within the series. Please click the appropriate link below for your next step. If you'd like to take a quiz, you'll receive your results in real time directly on the screen so that you can see how well you've done. If you answer incorrectly, the system will prompt you with the correct response. In addition, a confidential email will be sent to the education team to help us better serve you with our educational offerings. Second, watch the next video within this series that you are currently in. And finally, return to the video library main page. As always, feel free to contact us through the Resource Center or email us with any additional questions or comments.